Hi there, everyone. This is Sean, and welcome to Questioning Money, a newsletter taking a closer look at how money works and how it affects the world around us. Today I'm going to talk about the history of paper money, which is older than a lot of you might think. Most of us probably think that the development of money throughout history was linear, with a steady progression from where we started to where we are today. Maybe this is true if you're only looking on the bits and pieces of the world where key progress in money was made, but thinking about money this way can be misleading. The world is vast, and especially in older times, communication between regions was limited. While a society, for example, like the Mesopotamians, may have stumbled into understanding the value of silver, that realization may not have reached other parts of the world for hundreds, if not thousands, more years. So the same is true with paper money. Paper money was not invented by the Bank of England. In fact, paper money is older than you might realize, and it presents a cautionary tale for all of the people who don't question the structure of modern money today. The first paper money originated in China in the 7th century during the Tang Dynasty, which is approximately 900 years before the increased use of paper money in England. Paper money became possible once the ability to print became available. While the proper printing press that we know of today was not invented until 1942, the Chinese had been able to invent a method for printing nearly 600 years earlier. The first paper money originated in China in the 7th century during the Tang Dynasty, which is approximately 900 years before the increased use of paper money really started in England. Paper money became possible once the ability to print became available. While the proper printing press that we know of today was not invented until around 1450, the Chinese had been able to invent a method for printing nearly 600 years earlier. The invention of printing was not done with the goal of creating money. Instead, the ability to create money was a side benefit. This early paper money, nicknamed flying cash due to the paper money's tendency to accidentally blow away in the wind, was essentially a certificate from the Tang Dynasty that guaranteed a certain amount of a good, such as metal or silk. The certificate was redeemable, meaning that it could be exchanged for the actual good that it represented, but it was rare for this to be done. The certificates were not widely used, however. Their main purpose was to pay merchants that were located far away from the region where the Tang family lived, since metal would be difficult to transport over such large distances. While the idea of paper money certificates being used in a monetary sense did occur during this time, it was not until the Song dynasty, beginning in around 960, that paper money began to merge in a manner that is more akin to what we use today. In the province of Sichuan, where Chinese printing was first invented, upper-class merchants and banks conspired together to create a form of banknote money. These first banknotes were quite extravagant in design, with pictures of trees, people, and homes printed on the notes with flourish using red and black ink. In Sichuan, the paper money began to quickly become widely accepted. Part of the reason why the Chinese were early to accept paper notes as money is because credit had long been familiar concepts within Chinese culture. By 1024, the Chinese government had noticed the success of paper money in Sichuan, and they were not content to sit idly by as paper money was being issued through entirely private sources. The government made it law that only they could issue paper notes as money. The notes created by the Chinese authorities were valued and redeemable for metal, and were exchanged among people and merchants in regular trade. In fact, paper money was being used in China when Marco Polo first came to visit the region in the 13th century. Marco Polo was quickly fascinated by the monetary system to the point that he detailed it in his journals quite extensively. He detailed all aspects of the monetary system, including how money was produced, how it was valued, and the ways in which it was exchanged. There is speculation, though not definitive proof, that Marco Polo's excitement about Chinese money upon his return from China is what sparked the idea of paper money in Europeans to begin with, and contributed to its development there. In the late 13th century, the Mongols conquered China and established the Yuan dynasty, and changes to the monetary system happened swiftly. The Mongols were well coordinated and created a national system of money that was not backed by either gold or silver. This monetary system is known as fiat money, which is what the world uses today. Fiat money has no value in itself, it's just paper. By carefully controlling the supply of paper money to be relatively limited, the idea behind a fiat currency is that it allows the issuing body or the minter of the money more direct control over the currency itself, which theoretically can allow for a more stable economy. It's still a question that gets asked today. Why is paper money, like dollars, valuable? Answers to this question almost always overlook the 5 properties of money: divisibility, durability, portability, recognizability, and scarcity. A common refrain today is that dollars are backed by trust in the American government or the strength of the military, but neither of those are strictly true. A money either works well or doesn't based on how it performs at money's 5 properties. While paper itself may be relatively worthless, if a paper is scarce, divisible, and counterfeit resistant, then it really does function well as money and deserves value. It's the scarcity aspect, though, where paper money tends to fail, and that was the case with the Mongols. It has simply proven to be impossible for an issuer of a money that has no limit, other than the responsibility of self-discipline, to refrain from the devaluation of the currency. For the few hundred years throughout the Yuan and later Ming dynasties, inflation was a constant problem, and there were numerous revaluations of the currency. Eventually, in 1450, the paper money experiment had failed so badly in China that China reverted back to a metal-based system and completely ceased using paper. And that's really all I wanted to talk about today in this issue of Questioning Money. Paper money has a history that goes back a lot longer than most of us think. It's easy to think of the progression of money as being going from more basic and limited systems of money to where we are today as being the next evolution, but what we've done today has been done before, and it's failed before. So that's something to be mindful about. So thank you for listening to this issue of Questioning Money. You can find me on Twitter at Sean Cover. If you like the episode, please subscribe to get it sent to your email inbox every Monday. I'll be back next week. Thank you again for listening. Take care.